Mel and Tiffany are cut from the same type of cloth. Very throw rock, hide your hand. Very Karen, as Destiny brought up. I don't know why Destiny doesn't recognize this in Mel or excuses it in Mel. Maybe I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, they're both jerks and almost hard to watch. Listen, so the episode starts with, we'll just start with Martell coming in on the guys playing basketball. They're talking about what happened between Martell and Mel on the last episode, the night before, where Mel and Martell got into it about the song. Apparently this song is like a big thing. Like, Mel really wants Martell to love the song, even though the song is about him. Martell seems to, he has an issue with the song for obvious reasons. The biggest reason he keeps bringing up is about the kids. Like, I don't want my kids hearing this song. I definitely don't want them to sing it, to be singing it with you, as you often do with them, apparently. And so when they were playing basketball, they were talking, before Martell even came in, Maurice was just like, he thinks that the issue, that there's, valid points on each side. You don't really want these issues to come to your children. You don't want your children to hear this song. You don't want your children to know that there's a video and the guy in the video is portraying their father. Like, it's just a mess. But they also touch on the fact that Marceau and Tisha have issues. So when Martell comes out, he's just like, what's going on? They're just like, hey, we're out here. We were talking about what happened between you and Mel, and we're also talking about what's going on between Marcel and Tisha. And Martell's like, well, okay, we know what's going on with me, so let's talk about Marcel. Marcel lets him know that they were talking about Tisha surprising Marcel with therapy, and how he didn't like that, and how he just felt like she should be able to talk to him. And Marcel is like, I don't know, what's your problem with that? Like, you should be congratulating her you should be applauding her for trying everything she can. If she feels like she can't talk to you, which is something that the guys were saying, that the reason why she might have done something like that would be that she just can't figure out how to talk to him. And Martell is just like, if she feels like she can't talk to you, then therapy is a way to go. It's the logical next step. Like, what's going on with you? So then Marcel kind of just wants to go back and talk about the issue with Martell and Mel, and he's just like, well, I'm not going to listen to you. You don't know, you haven't been through this, and I'm not about to listen to somebody who won't even listen to a licensed professional about the issue of marriage. Like, nah. So Maurice and Louis the guy from Ghostbusters come in, because they're both on their second marriage, and they're just like, I've been through it, blah blah blah. And Marcel's like, y'all, I understand y'all been through it, but y'all are not me, so like, let's just chill out with the advice type junk or whatever. So then they want to go over to meet the women who are chilling by the pool, probably on a pill or two, because you know how we women do. We chill, we like to chill hard. No. They probably don't take any pills, and neither do I. So, but Mel probably should. So, speaking of Mel, Martell sees that she's not out there, and everybody's asking for her, and somebody mentions how they're always waiting on Mel, and Destiny's like, no, y'all not always waiting on. They say they're always waiting on Mel or Destiny, and Destiny's like, well, it's worth the wait, isn't it? Blah blah blah. So Martell goes to go check on Mel. He's like, what's up? And she's just like, oh, so they started to get into it. Apparently he had knocked on her door around 1 a.m. And she was just like, I know why you did it. He was like, no, I knocked on your door because I wanted to apologize like I'm trying to do now. She's like, no, I know you. He's just like, yeah, whatever. So I'm just trying to make sure everything is cool so we can go out here and chill or whatever. She's like, well, no. So I just want you to know that there are certain triggers with me, and her triggers are the children and her music career. And it triggers her that he keeps disrespecting it, even though he congratulated her when her music dropped. He was like, I didn't congratulate you on the song. I just congratulated you, for your good fortune. I always want to see you do well. And she's just like, well, if you want to see me do well, so it goes on from that. And he walks out. So as he's leaving out, of course, Mel decides that, since she's knows all about triggers now, she understands her own triggers. She wants to press on Martell's trigger and bring up the side chick. She said there was a lot of things last night I could have said about the side chick. Martell turns on around and comes back into the argument like a wrestler or something. When they jump over the ropes out of nowhere. They run into the stadium out of nowhere. The music is playing, and no. But he does look kind of like a wrestler, the way his muscles are set up and how tight his clothing is. So he's just like, you keep talking about side chicks, and you was a side chick twice. You was with 2 different men who were engaged to women, and you have an issue with me and my infidelity, but you want to mess with men who are engaged. And she's like, no, that's a lie. So they going back and forth or whatever. And the producers call Marceau and to come get Martell and to stop everything. And Marceau comes in and he grabs Martell and he brings him out of the room, whatever. They're still kind of fussing, and Martell tells the producer, during the confessional, that he, Martell's explanations never really make sense to me. I mean, like, they make sense on like an elementary level, but like it's almost what he said was that he's not going to elaborate on what the thing that she's lying about is, but he don't want her to be lying like that. That's what pissed him off. That's what triggered him. Child, just so of course now they're all chilling back in the living room or the whatever room they're chilling in, and they're like, well, again, where's Mel? And Mel is in the room recharging and whatever. Tisha decides to go back there and check on Mel and see what's going on, see if she wants to come play a game with them. Mel's just like, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not surprised that Martell is here, but I'm not surprised that Martell is here. But if I had known he was here, I would have never booked. I would never have booked the flight. And I'm just I'm rolling my eyes. I'm rolling my eyes right now, even recalling it, because it's just like, girl, you knew he was coming, and you came, and you couldn't control yourself. At some point, Martell, when Marcel was talking about Martell and Mel, he says that they consciously make the choice not to control their anger. You know what I'm saying? So he want to know what's up with that, and they're being childish and all that, and they really are. And I don't know what La La Land Mel lives in, but girl, you didn't know that Martell was going to be there. You didn't know, and you don't know why Martell has an issue with that song. Later on, in this conversation, when Tisha asked you, are you going to come out and chill? You want to ask, is Martell going to be there? Where would Martell be? I'm sick of you. She laid up in the bed like some sort of patient in the hospital. Oh, I'm just trying to get my energy up. He did me so wrong, girl. You triggered that fight. You did that. Goodness, she gets on my nerves, man. So they're able to convince her to come out. I'll come out and listen. So that's what she does. She comes out and listens to the game. What it is, what Luis has decided to call this little event, they're playing Would I Ever, and they've decided to call it Wildin' with the Whitlows. Whew. This man, listen, anyway, so they're asking all these questions, and all the questions are, of a sexual nature. And they asked Maurice, they asked how many women have you been with in one night? He says 6, and Martell's like, ew, how have you been with 6 women? And Maurice is just like, it was a challenge. He didn't really, he's kind of, he didn't like it. In a confessional, he admits he probably shouldn't have said it. Kimmy is just like, or did this happen when you were me? I'm just trying to make sure I wasn't in the rotation. He was like, no, this is before I found you, and they gave each other kisses or whatever. So, they also asked Mel, who, or is she? This was actually the first question they asked Mel. Were her needs being met? Mel takes a second to think about her answer, and then she said, yes. So Mel, you with somebody? Are they engaged? Oh shoot. So then they're going on to ask Martell, Martell, what advice would you give any another married couple? Martell says to make sure that you meet your partner's needs. And so of course it's kind of awkward because his whole thing with Mel has been was that she was not meeting his needs. And so Tisha's like, well, they kind of check him on, what do you mean by that? He said, I said meet, your spouse's needs. I didn't specify the husband or whatever. We just supposed to meet each other's needs or whatever. So that's how that go. Then they asked, I'm trying to think of what they asked Tisha. I can't remember, Tisha or Marcel. I can't remember what it was, but I know it led Marcel or Tisha to be like, all these questions are really sexual. And Tiffany was just like, y'all been married for 15 years. I know y'all have sex. Y'all can't talk about sex and so and so. And Tisha's just like, yeah, okay. So then they asked Tisha, they asked the group, have they ever been unfaithful? So everyone drinks, of course, and then Tisha was like, I've never been unfaithful. And Tiffany is like, oh, aren't you a princess? And Tiffany says, Tisha says, but she called her that beat word. And they all laugh or whatever. So, and they just like, we don't know what's up with the Willows. Are they trying to, have some fun with us? They trying to have an orgy or what? If they're trying to have an orgy, just say that, and so I can just go ahead and tell because we're not into that. And they really I don't know what's up. Maybe it was the editing, but they just look pressed to show everyone that they were just like them and they just wanted to have fun or whatever. So then that leads into the women, the women going their way and the men going their way. They're having ladies' night. Tiffany is getting, what is my girl name? Tisha is getting ready, and Marcel is there, with her, and he's talking about like what are they gonna do, about Mel and Marcel. Like Tisha's just like, I ain't gonna do nothing, it's not really my responsibility. And then that's what Marcel agrees is not really his responsibility. He also doesn't want to feel responsible or be in a position where he should feel responsible for the two of them. So the ladies they go out to this bar. They're all looking cute. They're all looking cute, and Mel has on that hat that she had on, that black. Mel, what's up with this hat? Like, why do you feel like that's going out clothes? Maybe it is. Maybe maybe I don't know. But Mel just looked like she looks like a character out of a 90s sultry type movie. You know what I'm saying? Like the movies they used to have with like the saxophone. They were done in like a dark filter, and they were always in a club somewhere. And there were some drugs going on, and the music would be like real sexy and saxophone going and stuff like that. And Mel just comes in when and she just reads a poem. She does a poetry slam or something like that, and that's just who Mel is in these outfits to me. Like, but it just seems inappropriate because it's not that type of situation. Destiny is wearing some silvery halter top, and Mel is wearing what she's wearing. Mel has also said in this episode that she's gonna stay sober because she wants to make sure that that she knows what's coming out of her mouth, and she knows what's going into her ears, and which is being sober in a situation like that is probably for the best, especially for someone like her who goes off like she does when she's sober. So she probably should not drink. So they all go there, and they're all Tisha is oh no, wait, before they get there, before the whole party ends, Tisha says, I want to before the Would I Ever game ends, Tisha says she wants to make sure that this question is respectable. Before she asks it, she asked Kimmy, can she ask it? And then she asked Maurice, does he think if he would have stayed with Kyle, whether it would have worked? Now, Kimmy was justifiably irritated by this because it's like, why are you asking this? What's going on? You're asking this while I'm right here. I kind of saw it as, Tisha's my girl, so I do try to find grace for her. It wasn't an appropriate time to ask the question. It just was. But I think that she might have been coming from a place of like, it's from the questions that she was asking prior to that question and just the whole vibe of everything, she seemed to be trying to get more inspiration to stay with her marriage, because their struggling seems to be part of this episode, even though they're on their 15th year anniversary. And she also mentions that there's going to be a surprise, not a surprise, but a tiny vow renewal coming up. So now we're back at the club with the ladies, and man, Tiffany once again is just looking and acting like a Karen, just in the freaking way. Tiffany says to Tisha, like the ladies are having a little conversation, and Tiffany says to Tisha, do you think that she says, I want to let you know that the guys were talking, and Maurice brought up the surprise therapy session, and he doesn't seem to think that everything is cool from it. Like, well, Tisha's like, well, everything is cool because we started dating again, and so we got something out of it. And then Tiffany's like, well, that's not what your husband said. Your husband's telling his friends that, he thinks that you're not confident, blah, blah, blah. And Marcel did say that he feels like that Tisha, when he first met Tisha, her shoulders were back. She was just extremely confident. The world was hers and all that. But in the last year, he's seen that, that confidence kind of go away, and she started worrying about the way she speaks and all that stuff, and he's just he's concerned about that, and he thinks that's kind of leading into the marriage. So that is what Tiffany brought to this whole ladies' night that they're having. For some reason, she thought it was a good time to talk about it. Destiny points out the fact that hey, like, you're talking about her having a surprise therapy session, you had a whole surprise wedding. Tiffany says a wedding that he was happy, he wanted for 2 years, and I didn't want the wedding, but I did that for him, whatever. But it's just like, you kind of do want to give him, just like she was trying, because Tiffany was trying to tell Tisha that she probably should have given him some sort of heads up or whatever. And she kind of displayed that she had no clue what she was talking about when she thought that Tiffany or that Tisha took Marcel to counseling by himself, just dropped him off counseling by himself. Like, what the freak? Why would she do that? But anyway, so like I said, Destiny called her out, because Destiny's just like this. You just keep doing this. You do not read the room. You did this at my birthday brunch. You bring up things that are unpleasant at happy times, and it's just ridiculous or whatever. And then Tiffany's like, whatever. So, but Tiffany also asked Tisha, does she think that they're staying together? Just out of the blue, Tiffany says, you think you're staying together for the kids? Now, Marcel did say on the party bus, that, on the way to go drive those slingshots that they were driving, he did say that his aunt told him that they should stay together for the kids, and he's glad he did, or blah, 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 blah. So that's probably something that Tiffany's husband told her as well. But to bring it up while you're on a ladies' night is wild, because it's just like, why are you continuously trying to break up the vibe? And she keeps saying that, like, it's a transparency thing when they check her. Well, let me just say, so she also mentions that she also asked Tisha, did they stay together for the kids? And, and so that becomes the thing. Tisha doesn't say anything in a moment, but when it comes back up, when Destiny brings up the issue, and she says that she thought it was inappropriate, and she said it's not really her issue, and then she kind of looked at Tisha, and Tisha was like, well, I didn't appreciate it, but I realized that that's how Tiffany is. She just kind of says how she feels or whatever. Tisha is clearly drunk, lapping her eyes real slow and all that or whatever, and Kimmy is just like, yeah, I think what it is that it really wasn't about the kids, and so they're just trying to get her together. And Tiffany's like, well, I'm just I would hope we are all transparent. I'm transparent here, blah, blah, blah. Girl, what is transparent? Like, what's up? And Destiny says, again, she keeps it real again and says, listen, like, it's one thing to be transparent, but when you're with adults, you have to know when to say, when to say this and when to say that. It's just, Tiffany says she's transparent with her kids, so she's transparent with everybody, blah, blah, blah. But And of course, Mel comes to her defense, again, because remember, she says she has to defend her Tiffany because Tiffany is so sensitive. What you need to do to defend your friend is to tell her what Destiny is trying to tell her. Watch your mouth. If you are so sensitive and you cry when people come at you, watch your mouth. Why are you asking her? You don't know her like that to be asking her, did you stay together for the kids? What are you? What's wrong with your mind that you don't know that you're saying the wrong thing? So, Kimmy is just like, it was brought, when someone brings up to you, I'm not taking anybody's side, but the fact that it has been brought to light and brought to your attention that that comment was not appreciated, you should not be defending it. And Tiffany's like, well, it was brought up by a bystander. And she just kind of laughs her eyes at Destiny. And Destiny's like, I'm not a bystander. I was sitting right here. I was in the conversation when it was happening. And Tiffany was like, well, I understand that you would be offended, because you're from Detroit and all these places or whatever. And then Destiny's like, no, I'm not slow. I caught that shade. Don't shade me. Don't come at me. Because what are you saying? You trying to call her ghetto? Tiffany, what are you? You are a Karen. That's first and foremost. And there is no hierarchy between a Karen and someone who is, acting ghetto. It's not. Both ends of the spectrum are trash. When we're talking about it in the way that we talk about it being, there's nothing wrong with, coming from the ghetto. Most people coming from the ghetto, well, a lot of people coming from the ghetto do great things with their lives. Just ghetto was just a descriptor of behavior that may be outdated, but we know what we mean by that, and it's not a positive thing. The same thing with a Karen, well, actually, no, not the same thing with a Karen. Karen is just negative all around, and that's what Tiffany is. And I don't have time to try to explain this because it's just what it is. Tiffany is trash, and I just hope that somebody reads the freak out of her. Mel once again is trying to act like she don't know. Well, what is it that you want her to do? What is it you want her to do differently? Destiny's like, have some some coof about her, have some tact, act like a freaking adult. Mel for some reason doesn't understand it. That's her way of defending her friend. Mel, you're trash as well, and you know what? That's just how that go.